I look at this as next year not being a now or never, but certainly a now, or it'll be a few more years until we can get back to that point.
Yep. Well, speaking of the last game of the year, be there for the last game of the World Cup. Pretty awesome opportunity to tap in with our friends at Game Time. GameTime.co is where you can go to get the link to download the Game Time app, which we, of course, always encourage you guys to do. But look, the World Cup is in not only North America, but right in our backyard in North Texas. And it's in North America for the first time since 1994. And it's going to be a 48 team tournament, and it is time to get your tickets, but it's brutal. It's expensive. Guess what? Game Time makes it incredibly easy to browse through the ticket deals and score those great tickets. And this is just online too. Like this is a not as quick and easy as the app goes. I mean, the app literally takes like 5 clicks to get your spot secured because you know how the fees are included. You could see zone deals, and you could even see the Game Time ticket coverage with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying those soccer tickets with Game Time. Get ahead of it, okay? This is next summer. Perfect time to get ahead of the game. This is AT&T Stadium. It's going to be packed. It's going to be expensive to get in. So make sure you download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. Again, terms apply, but please download the Game Time app today and use code ON3 for $20 off your first purchase. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today, and they present our film room with you, Hayden Howerton.
Guys, we're making some changes to the film room still. We're bringing you guys a little more live action to the viewing audience. Really appreciate you guys for giving me this platform every week. I know you guys enjoy it. Going to be a little tougher episode this week following that loss, but without further ado, please enjoy this week's episode of The Film Room presented by Game Time.
Welcome back to The Film Room, everybody. I'm Hayden Howerton, and this is going to be a tough episode of The Film Room. Usually I love for these to be very positive, very uplifting. Like there was a lot of really great things that happened. And I do think there are some cool things that were on tape on Saturday. But I think it was just what you saw on Saturday night on the TV copy is pretty much what you see in the film room. I definitely think their offensive line got after us at times. I definitely think the slow start is just what overall killed us. And frankly, guys, I think Cal was just better than we overall expected them to be. So lock in. There will be some good things. There will be some bad things. And hopefully we can learn from it going forward after this. So to jump off for this, minute 57 left in the first quarter, 3-0, Cal. Not a big hole yet. Cal did go down the field, scored first, but this is SMU's, I believe, second or third drive. So we're on the 46-yard line coming out. We're in a 2-by-1 set here on the perimeter. And up front, they're going to give us an odd front here. So they're going to give us 3 down. We're going to run our GT counter here. And we've run a lot of counter action plays so far in 2025. This is the first time I've seen us run GT counter. A nice little wrinkle that we had here for the Golden Bears. All GT counter means, instead of the tight end, number 88 here, being the wrapper, we're just going to switch that, and we're going to have Savion Byrd be the guy that wraps around as the second puller as he follows his boy, Logan Parr. So here, because of the odd front, we have an automatic down call on the front side, which means the center is going to block back, the right guard is going to block down, and then the right tackle on the front side is going to block that 4-eye. The backside two are going to pull, as we already talked about. Logan Parr does a nice job of delivering with some power here to open up that hole. Savion Byrd, I mean, watch how he just leads here and opens this thing up. A really great job schematically by the offensive line. I think their technique is very good. They're all finishing with that right arm as they do a really nice job of keeping all the Cal Bears inside. And then Chris Johnson Jr. just does the rest, man. Hits this hole extremely tight, extremely fast. He gets out the gate, and he's off to the races for a 54-yard touchdown. This was a great way to start off this offense's production on Saturday night. Wish we could have had a few more of these earlier just to kind of keep the momentum going, keep some of our confidence up. But overall, it was nice to see this run kind of spearhead the offense, at least in the first half. So somewhere I think we really struggled is situationally. So second quarter here, 8 seconds to go. We're on the 47 going in. A little too far for a field goal, but we have enough time to get another playoff, try to get some guys out of bounds here. So we'll watch this one from the wide view. Got a 2-by-2 set as we're lined up here. Cal is way off. They're in prevent defense here. Have a huge cushion with 8 seconds left to go and potentially run some out routes, get a quick pitch and catch, get out of bounds, and get us between 5 and 10 yards closer to set up a Sam Keltner. About a 50-yard field goal would be what it would be if you got to the first down marker here and got the conversion. But ultimately, that's not what happens, because in this situation, the one thing that you cannot do as a quarterback is take a sack. Got no timeouts here as we see here. So we're in a get rid of it situation, whether it's a throw it out of bounds or just get it to the next open guy. But on the snap here, we'll watch the routes develop. Thing on the bottom here, I know this is the later reads because Kevin is frankly just going to the guys on his right first. It's on the short field. His early reads are over here to the guys on the right. I believe that's Romello Brinson up here at the top. Maybe it's I think it's Jordan Hudson. I can see the arm brace. I think he's open there for a second, sitting right here at about the 40-yard line. I think this would have to be one of those KJ gets to his hitch and gets the ball out for this to be completed. But then you look down here at the bottom of the screen, and this is Romello here at the bottom, wide open. I know he's the fourth read, but I mean, he's got a 15-yard cushion to the defensive back that if you were able to get him the ball, he would be able to get enough yards and get out of bounds. But we'll watch the protection here as this is the worst thing that happens. You end up taking a sack here against a 3-man rush. This is hard because you have 3 double teams. It's hard to watch. It's not hard to execute. It's hard to watch because you have 3 double teams here. You've got the right tackle and right guard doubling this end. You've got the center and the left guard doubling the nose. And then you've got Savion and the running back, left tackle and running back, doubling this D end here. Savion's in a good spot as far as his set, but he just gets wide hand. He catches a little bit too much here on this D end, goes speed to power, collapses the pocket, and unfortunately the rush gets home because KJ double clutches a couple times. The O-line does not do an effective job of holding up the rush, and the half ends due to a sack when we really could have and should have gotten at least 3 points here. So second half, coming out of the half, 4 seconds in, I'm really proud of the way that this team did not feel like they had to throw the ball constantly to be able to win. So what I'm talking about here is we were able to still run the ball effectively at this point in the game. You got a pretty light box. You got 4 down, 1 linebacker, and then a safety back deep. Your will linebacker here, number 41, is really standing in the middle of the field when the ball is on the left hash. You've got a pretty light box here, and I like how SMU takes advantage of this. So we're going to go back to a similar scheme to the GT counter, except we're going to make a Charlie adjustment. And what that means, the C in Charlie is going to tell us the center is actually going to be the one pulling here with this wide 3 on the backside. So all that changes is the right guard is going to base block this 3, and the center is going to pull instead. I like how Josh Bates looks out here in space, does a nice job of doing enough here with this D end. He does get collapsed a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Kevin's able to get by it. And a cool thing about this is we're running quarterback runs here. You really have an extra blocker when you keep the quarterback run involved. Watch how this linebacker reacts to Chris Johnson Jr. leaving the box here. Number 0 has Chris Johnson Jr. He is leaving the box, which is going to give us an extra blocker as PJ Williams, the right tackle, is able to pull up onto this safety for a big explosive run for Kevin. I'd like to see Kevin slide here be a little smarter. I think Romello Brinson in the perimeter blocking is a little indecisive, as looks like he's going to block the corner, and then last second it's looking like he's making a decision to block the safety, and he actually ends up on the tackle for Kevin. So Romello, just go make a decision here. Just be decisive with it and help your quarterback out, because right now you just got in the way on this tackle here. I like the creativity of the run. I think we schemed this one up pretty well coming out of the half. Kept Cal guessing a little bit, and is definitely something I would like to see more as we get into the bowl season. So y'all know I'm going to try to defend the offensive line at essentially every possible opportunity. But in a game where we could have clinched a ACC championship appearance, there are a couple things that are inexcusable in my book. Down 17, 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter here. Ball game is still within reach. I don't want to get it twisted, as SMU did come all the way back in this game. But there were a couple moments here that, for me, need to be addressed. We're going to go back to the guard tackle. We're going to go back to the center tackle counter here as we're going to get the tackle out here in space. And this looks very similar to the play I showed just a couple minutes ago. But watching Josh Bates, I think he does a better job of kicking out this DN. But watching the wrapping tackle, I mean, we're jogging here. This is one of those where we've got to hit the accelerator and go run through this gap. I mean, this is a safety. This is number 6 here, sitting in the hole right here. I mean, we should be destroying this guy. But instead, we kind of meander on up there. He slips the block, and he makes the tackle for essentially a 3-yard gain. I mean, and Chris Johnson is having to sit here and dance in the hole because the holes aren't developing. So for me, we're not hitting it with the same intensity that we were earlier in the game. Very next play, and I want to watch this as well. We're mis-ID'd. So here, we've got an odd front. We've got an overhang. This is an inside zone. So on paper, we should be 2 left. We should be going to this linebacker standing here, and we should be going to this linebacker over here on the left. If y'all are watching on the YouTube clip, I do have a laser pointer to shine over on the outside. So one here is our ID, and then the other one would be this linebacker standing over the guard. So we should be 2 left here. And instead, the front side is pushing it, and the backside is climbing to the backside linebacker. So we're going to turn the front side linebacker number 0 loose here. I mean, it just kills our runs, man. When we're not all on the same page, we're not playing with a high level of energy, it is really difficult for us to have any kind of big-time power force success that it's going to take to win this conference in years to come. I mean, here's yet another clip on where Chris Johnson Jr. just had a big, big run. It looks like it makes everybody else correct. So we're going to go back to more of this counter scheme. This time we've got the tight end involved here, and we do a nice job of actually being on the right guys this time. We've got another down call on the front side. We're blocking everybody right. We've got good displacement here by Savion at the left tackle spot. Addison does a good job of kicking out this first guy that shows up. He really ends up blocking 2 because of where the safety shows up. Nice job by Stone-Eby on the wrap. And then watch this here. I mean, these jump cuts by Chris Johnson Jr., insane. 1, right here. Bam! Another one. I mean, just for this guy to be able to make these kind of cuts with a dude that has the straight-ahead speed that he does. Chris Johnson Jr. won the 100 and the 200 meter in high school in Florida's 3A division. We all know that he has tremendous amount of speed, but for him to be able to make the kind of cuts that he does at this level is really special to be able to have this guy for a couple more seasons. So something that has been an identity of Scott Simon's defense has been the level of physicality that we have brought over the last 2 years. This is something that was very surprising to me on Saturday, because when you look at where we're at in the ballgame, 15 minutes to go here in the second quarter. This is the first play of the second quarter. So this defense had a TV timeout. They'd been rested here for a minute. And we have watched this little interior game between the nose guard and the D tackle probably 100 times this year here in the film room. This is one of their consistent games that they run. It throws off offensive line combos, and it really allows the defensive line to eat up 3 guys between the 2 middle guys, freeing up one of the linebackers. The problem becomes when our 6'6" defensive tackle is playing at about 6'7" here. He's not using great pad level. He's literally being lifted off of the ground here, as I think only his big toe is touching right here, which is blowing up the loop as our D tackle tries to get behind him, but he's being driven off the ball. Makes it harder for the linebackers. And the frontside linebacker here, number 29, he's trying to fill. He's trying to go here and make the play. And this is a guy who's been extremely physical for this defense this year. He slips the block, but it's like he's not throwing his head in there like we had seen all year long. So just kind of a very weird situation, circumstance where I don't think they were very physical on Saturday night. I wish they were. I think that would have slowed them down in a offensive line that was on paper the worst offensive line that we had played to the point of the season. 12 games in, they were the worst rushing offense in the country, and one of the worst pass blocking offensive lines in the country. Really disappointing. I thought our defensive line would have a much bigger impact in this game, but we were unfortunately disappointed by plays like this one, where if they would have just shown a little bit more of the physicality that we had seen over the first 11 games, I think the outcome would have been different. I appreciate Rhett Lashley doing a great job of always defending his players. I really do, because you never want a head coach to just be throwing guys under the bus. But I think we need to have a little better situational awareness with some of the guys on this team. For example, we've got 2nd and 15. Cal's been slinging it all over the yard tonight. Obvious passing situation here in the fourth quarter. So we'll stick to the wide view here. They got three by none. Really, they've got a tight end over there. So 4 by none. They motion one over down here at the bottom of the screen. This corner at the bottom of the screen here is going to be in man coverage. We've got the safety in the middle of the field. They've got the 2 over here. Let's watch the top of the screen first, just to kind of get a view of the coverage. The corner at the top of the screen is going to really play the deep third. It looks like we're in cover 3 here, because he's going to play the deep third. The middle of the field safety is going to play the middle third, and then the corner here at the bottom is going to play the bottom of the screen third. I think that's Deuce Harmon up here on the hash. He's got what comes down low. But this corner here at the bottom of the screen, he's got everything on this side of the field. There's only one wide receiver here. He is yours, man. This might as well be man coverage with how we're looking at this. And for Cal to run a 5-yard out and go, where by the time he gets into his break, we've got 3 yards of cushion. And for Cal to just air this thing over the top, and they've got 5 yards of separation, by the time he throws an absolute dot into the end zone, I mean, it's inexcusable. It's really difficult to see this clip in week 14 when we saw very similar clips in week 2 or 3 of the season. And I don't want to rag on guys individually just all night. But when you look at the level of play that had been executed between weeks 5 and week 13, for this to rear its ugly head in week 14 is so hard for me to swallow from it as a former player, somebody who has been on the field. And look, I've never played corner a day in my life. But I also know if I got beat on specific moves, blitzes, concepts early in the year, teams are going to run it every game for the rest of the season until you prove otherwise that you can handle it. So kudos to Cal, because they found our weakness that we had showed earlier in the year with some of the plays that we made at corner, and they were able to exploit those tonight. Defensively, we were the number 1 scoring defense going into this game in week 14, and I think the defense overall was very much improved from those first few games of the year. But my word, it was frustrating to watch the performance that was given on Saturday night from a scheme perspective and from a execution and effort perspective.
Tough showing, man. Kind of
Yeah.
As we sit here and watch that back, I mean, I mean everything I said there. It's really hard to sit in the film room and watch it. And look, I've been a part of some ugly film room sessions. You know, I've sat there and taken it like a man, and that's what we're gonna have to do to improve as a football team, not just to get into the bowl season, but to get into next year. You're gonna have 15 practices over the next however long this team has that the NCAA allows us before the bowl game to go out and get better. This is essentially a second spring if you use it correctly. So this is a massive, massive opportunity for this team to go out and improve and learn from the film that we just watched.